G'day everyone, this is another Footyology Match Dispatch and we're reporting on Hawthorn's triumphant 31-point win over Carlton at Perth's Optus Stadium this evening. Let's have a quick look at the scores and in the end, 31 points the margin, 14 goals, 5, 89 Hawthorn, very accurate kicking, defeating the Blues 9-4-58. If you just had a look at the final scores, you'd think, well, this was the Hawks cruising to the line, as they have so often against the Blues over the years. In fact, this was their 17th win from the last 18 meetings between the two clubs. But it's certainly not how this game started out. Carlton seized the initiative very early. They were on fire in the first quarter, actually. They kicked 5 goals to zilch in the first 16 minutes of this game. Patrick Cripps on fire out of the middle. Levi Casbolt particularly threatening up forward for the Blues. Took a great strong grab close to goal and kicked his first, ending up with 3 for the evening. Jack Nunes was fairly opportunistic near goal and he had a couple in the first quarter. Harry Mackay dangerous as well, and Hawthorn just couldn't get their hands on the footy. So for quite the majority of the first quarter, you thought, well, how far the Blues? But Hawthorn, importantly, found a bit of equilibrium towards the back end of the quarter. Youngster Will Day kicked a particularly good goal, his first in league footy from about the 50-metre arc. Luke Bruce, very pleased to have him back in the lineup, the Hawks were. He got another one, and it was back to 19 points at the first change, even though Carlton had really dominated play, doubled Hawthorn early on for inside 50s. Second quarter, Levi Casbolt kicked his second and looked like it was business as usual, or pretty much a repeat of the first term. But that was merely the appetiser for a burst of Hawthorn footy as quick and as potent and as exciting as anything I can remember them playing for at least 3 or 4 years. It really was spectacular. They slammed on 6 goals in 17 minutes, 2 coming to Isaac Smith, the second of which put them in front for the first time. Liam Shields, 2 to him. And Sean Burgoyne, really probably pretty inconspicuous for the rest of the game, but in this little period, he was dominant. I think 8 possessions during the second term and no fewer than 5 score involvements. He was the catalyst. Jack Gunston was everywhere for the Hawks as well. And it was vintage Hawthorn. It was just like the old days. And they were 13 points in front, close to half-time. In fact, it could have even been 19 points. Tim O'Brien dropping a bit of a sitter of a mark just as the siren went. Could have been 3 goals plus. Nonetheless, a remarkable transformation had come over this game. And Hawthorn just looking better on the outside for the first time in ages. Got rid of that stodgy ball movement. Really started to take some risks coming through the corridor. Isaac Smith, great on the burst. Chad Wingard getting better. Jarman Impey, another important inclusion for the Hawks, really showing some run and carry. So they had all the aces at halftime. Third quarter, Carlton did recover a bit, began to win a few more inside 50s, but they started to kick in accurately. Patrick Cripps missed a couple of chances for them. Hawthorn still up by 24 points at three-quarter time. Jack Martin, goal for Carlton within under a minute of the start of the last quarter. And briefly, you thought, well, maybe Carlton's got another surge left in them. Wasn't to be, however, and it was Chad Wingard who I thought probably hammered the final nail in the coffin with a great bit of hard work. He won possession back on the wing somewhere, dished off a lovely pass to Jonathan Segler, and who had no one behind him between him and the goals. Wingard then continued to work his butt off, running towards the goal face, got in position to take an uncontested mark, and from about 15 metres basically seal the result. Gunston and Impey added a couple more goals for good measure. And in the end, 5 goals plus victory for the Hawks. And importantly too, Hawthorn had lost 4 games on the trot. They hadn't lost 5 on the trot since 2010. One of the reasons I decided to tip them was they are a very proud club, and a number of times over the last few years have lost 4, but have been able to arrest that run of outs with an emphatic vintage Hawthorn performance to stop the run of defeats. And this was another one of them. Be interesting to see if it can translate into sustained form after this victory. Let's have a quick look at the goal kickers and best. 3 to Levi Casbolt for the Blues. A good target, again, near goal for them. 2 to Nunes, 2 to Martin. For the Hawks, 3 to Jack Gunston. His best game for some time, I thought. 2 each to Shields, Smith and Luke Bruce. For the Blues, Patrick Cripps didn't have his usual influence on this game. Liam Shields stood him for quite some time, and I thought probably had the better of him. But still, Patrick Cripps finished up with plenty of touches, I think 24 in the end. Sam Doherty, pretty serviceable off halfback. Ed Curnow, doing what Ed Curnow usually does. Casbolt, like I said, up forward, at least provided a decent target for the Blues. For the Hawks, really even team performance. I thought James Warple, probably their best. He was going well in the first quarter, even when teammates weren't. Won a heap of contested ball. Ditto Tom Mitchell. We know Mitchell's talent for winning a heap of possession, and he just did that all day. But some of the veterans really stood up today too. I thought Gunston, terrific up forward, worked very hard up into the midfield as well. Also, Liam Shields, great on-ball performance from him, valuable with a couple of goals. Jager O'Meara, really solid and got better the longer the game went. Sam Frost, pretty reasonable in defence, I thought. And Chad Wingard, like I said, worked really hard and got better the longer the game went. So in the finish, a fantastic win for the Hawks, 31 points, 14 goals, 5, 89. Defeating the Blues, 9-4, 58. That's 2 weeks in a row now. Carlton's got off to a great start and then been reeled in by an opponent. Early in the season, they were conceding the starts. They need to get that balance right. Hawthorn, let's see what they can do from here. That is another Footyology Match Dispatch. We'll see you later.